This is TomoNews for Wednesday, November 23rd. Wildlife is like, wild. The world oohed and awed at a video of a dog-petting polar bear that went viral last week. But what we all thought to be evidence of a heartwarming interspecies friendship turned out to be just another predator playing with his food. The video was shot at the Mile 5 Dog Sanctuary in Manitoba, Canada, where owner Brian Ledoux claims his pets have a special relationship with these Arctic beasts. In reality, Ledoux has been feeding the bears for years to dissuade them from picking off his dogs. But it's illegal to feed polar bears, since it emboldens them to seek out human communities for food, making attacks more common. Ledoux learned this the hard way one night when he forgot to put out food for the bears. Just hours after playing nice with one puppy, the very same polar bear, now feeling a little hungry, then saw another dog as a big pile of chow. And since Ledoux keeps the sled dogs on his property chained, there was no stopping the hungry bear from digging in. The animal was later taken away by conservation officers and put in a holding facility. Another bear and her cub were reportedly removed as well, since they too were reportedly being fed.
Wealthy Qatari sisters robbed during highway heist near Paris. Two filthy rich sisters from Qatar now find themselves a little lighter in the pocket, following the most recent high-profile robbery to take place in France. On November 21st, the sisters landed at Le Bourget airport in their private plane. The details of their arrival must not have been as private though. As they made their way toward Paris in a chauffeur-driven Bentley, the car driving up ahead of them slammed on its brakes, forcing their vehicle off the highway. That's when three masked men jumped out of the car. The men wasted no time going after the goods, spraying tear gas at the driver and popping the trunk of the Bentley. The sisters' suitcases were sitting in the trunk, containing an estimated $5.3 million worth of goods, mostly jewelry. The jewel thieves grabbed the luggage, hopped back in their car, and sped off into the night. The sisters were unharmed in the heist. They are the latest to fall victim to these burglaries in France. Last month, Kim Kardashian was tied up and robbed of millions in jewelry, and last week, Bollywood actress Malika Sherawat and her partner were tear-gassed before the bandits ran away.
Activists say protester may lose her arm because of a police grenade, but the cops tell a different story. 21-year-old Sofia Wolanski's life changed in a bad way at 4:30 a.m. on Monday after her arm was severely injured by what her dad and Dakota Access pipeline protesters claim was a concussion grenade thrown by North Dakota cops. Lawyer Wayne Wolanski says the grenade exploded near his daughter Sophia's left forearm and did some major damage. Photos posted to social media appear to show Sophia and her injury after the incident. Describing the extent of her injury in a statement, Sophia's dad said the blast destroyed all of her left forearm muscle, soft tissue, nerves and arteries between the elbow and wrist, plus some of the bone. Sadly, it's unknown if doctors can restore functional use of the limb. They deny using grenades and instead suggest Sophia may have been wounded while protesters were rigging up their own explosives. And that claim might not entirely be without merit, as police say they found improvised explosives after investigating a blast on Monday morning. At 3 a.m, the cops say they spotted two men and a woman trying to cover what they were doing behind a makeshift barricade near a burnt-out vehicle on Backwater Bridge. They refused to come out, so police opened fire with non-lethal rounds to drive them out. Police then saw more protesters approaching, including one rolling silver cylinders. Police say there was an explosion, and protesters pulled a woman from underneath the vehicle. Authorities investigated the area afterwards and found propane tanks rigged as improvised explosive devices, as well as slingshots and rocks. According to reports, police are investigating if the explosives are connected with the injuries sustained by a female protester. There have been several run-ins with security and authorities since the Dakota Access pipeline protest began in April this year. However, things turned violent late last month during confrontations between riot police and protesters.
Thunderstorm asthma disaster hits Australia. 4 people are dead after a thunderstorm triggered massive asthma flare-ups in Melbourne on Monday night. A storm that raged through the city shortly before 6 p.m. brought with it extreme levels of ryegrass pollen, causing a rare phenomenon known as thunderstorm asthma. Whole pollen fragments typically released on hot, windy days are usually large enough to be trapped by nose hairs before they can get into the airways. But sudden weather changes can cause the larger pollen fragments to be swept up into storm clouds, where they absorb moisture and explode into thousands of tiny particles. The allergens are carried back to the ground and easily dispersed by the wind over long distances. When inhaled, they can trigger attacks in those who suffer from asthma or pollen allergies, though even non-sufferers can struggle to breathe. Experts say there is no way to predict the phenomenon, since storms on high pollen count days don't always result in thunderstorm asthma.
Space elevator would reach 20 kilometers into the sky. A Canadian space company wants to build a space elevator that reaches 20 kilometers high. You heard that right, 20 kilometers, or more than 12 miles. The company is called Thoth, and the concept is called the Thoth X Tower. The idea is to build a tower with reinforced inflatable sections. The middle is hollow. An elevator car would encircle the tower until it reaches the top. Thoth estimates the tower would cost $5 billion to construct. As a demonstration project, it would build a precursor tower, measuring 1.5 kilometers tall. One feature of the project is the wind farm about 3/4 of the way up. The 50 turbines would produce 1 gigawatt of continuous energy. That's enough to power about 700,000 homes. The main purpose of the tower is to provide a takeoff and landing platform for spacecraft. If your aircraft takes off at a 20-kilometer altitude, you can get to space in a single stage, without the need for additional fuel stages. Thoth estimates this would save 30% on energy costs.